Welcome to the Charleston CFO Council. This organization was co-founded in 2015 by Robert Bendetti and Mark Carmichael in order to provide a networking and educational forum for senior financial executives to share best practices, to discuss current financial issues, and to learn about current topics related to the performance of their job.
How are you doing, sir?
I'm well. How are you doing, Robert?
I'm excited to have you. This is going to be fun. Ridge.
I'm ready to go. I'm happy to be here. Thank you for doing all of this.
Well, this is exciting. And just as a little teaser, I've already seen while we were prepping somebody come in your office and leave. And I didn't say this beforehand, but we have one take. So if people come in and out, somebody hits you in the head or throws something at you, we're recording. Okay.
Okay. Well, anything can happen around here, so I can't make any promises.
This could be our most watched YouTube video if something. So I'm praying for something exciting to happen. I should have called your office beforehand and told someone to interrupt you during the call. That would have been awesome.
We've got a couple comments around here. I'm glad you didn't do that, or at least I hope you didn't.
Well, Ridge Johnson is the CFO of Keller Interiors, and he's got his bachelor's in business administration from Methodist College and his MBA from Charleston Southern, which is has a decent football program, not quite as good as the Kennesaw State University. And he is a CPA, married, 2 kids, and something I found out about you, I think, is that you like to fish.
A little bit. It's a big passion of ours. One of the things we love about it is when we get the kids out on the boat, we make sure that the hotspots are turned off on our phones. So, it's really good family time. It's just us. It forces them to talk to us instead of the people on Fortnite or whatever it is that they're doing. It's something I enjoy doing, and it gives us some really good family time. So you're right.
Question number 1, let's get into it, Ridge. What is your favorite business book and why?
Okay. So we have recently read as a group the Radical Candor. And I love that book because it focuses on creating an environment of trust and honesty through direct and compassionate communication. The ultimate goal is to help yourself and team members that you interact with function better as a group. It goes through a lot of different scenarios where you really break down situations and try to help people get better than they already are. So, for instance, like if you came out of a meeting and you did good in some areas, but maybe not so good in some others. The book goes through saying, telling somebody that they did great doesn't help them get better. And if you're not helping those individuals on your team get better, you're not helping the company get better. On the flip side of that, you need to, if nobody is providing feedback, you need to make sure that if somebody did do well, you let them know that. So it's all about creating a comfortable environment for everybody to operate in together, and then trying to make sure that we're doing everything for one another that we can, so that we can accomplish those overarching strategic goals.
Oh, that's a good sounding book. I'm gonna have to check that out.
There's been a couple of comedic attempts at it where they're talking about being radically candid and somebody's yelling at someone else. If you get the book, get the second one, because she actually addresses that and goes on to try and adjust some of the views of her original book. So get the second one.
You heard it from here, folks. Excellent. Question number 2 is, what is the best business advice, or just advice, that you've ever received?
So I've gotten this from 2 people. Part of the reason I became an accountant is when I had a teacher, Mary Kirchner, at Methodist University, and all I wanted to be was a mechanic. The only reason I went to college was to play baseball. So second semester, she pulls me aside. I was doing well in an accounting class, and she said, well, why don't you take this internship in Raleigh, North Carolina? I said, well, I'm not really interested in that. I'm going home to do X, Y, and Z, which was work on vehicles. And she said, you realize that businesses are just like cars. And it blew my mind. I was like, well, what do you mean? She said, well, sometimes they break too. And accountants are generally, or good accountants are the people that are there to fix them. And from there, I immediately changed my majors, and started heading down this road. I didn't finish my accounting degree there, but I did when I had a focus in it when I went to get my MBA. And then secondly, I love coaching kids because some of the things that come out of their mouth. And we were talking about practice to be perfect, and all those things. And one of my really smart kids said, "Coach, wrong." And I said, "Well, what do you mean?" And Luca looked at me. He said, "No," but he said, "Coach, practice is progress." And I was like, "Hold on, you might have something." So I feel like in the environment that we're in, perfection can be elusive in finance. So, but if we all continue to work together to address the problems we face, apply new methods, technologies, and directives, try and achieve those tactical and strategic goals, we'll get there eventually.
Ooh, I like that. We got a twofer right there. 2 bits of good information. And I like the idea of being a business mechanic. That sounds pretty cool. I like that.
My favorite thing.
Question number 3 is, have you started using a tool recently, or have you started doing something recently that you have found beneficial?
This one has been a game changer for not just for me personally, but for our company. At the end of 2019, we engaged an executive coach to come in and help our leadership team communicate better than we have in the past, and the results have been visible. What we're seeing is we have an enhanced level of communication quality at the executive level, and then their accountability at all levels within the company is on the rise because we don't push aside the tough conversations anymore. Get them out in the open. We address the missed opportunity or the missed deadline, any of the obstacles that are impeding it, and we're really honest about where those issues are occurring, and then trying to make sure as a group we come to what an appropriate resolution is, and then we follow up on it the following week, or get that person or that team the assistance they need so that we can make the progress that we're looking for. And it's been a real game changer, not just for me personally, but for the company overall.
And 2 questions on that is, so is everybody using the same person, a leadership coach, and then who is the leadership coach? If you want to share his name, if you like him.
Okay, I do like him a lot. His name is Michael Chastain, and he's with ARC Integrated out of Charlotte. And we meet as a group to talk about things, but then there's also breakout sessions where you individually have to talk to this person. And he works on developing a system of accountability to you and teaching you how to be accountable to yourself, and then also how to be accountable to the team. And he tries to help everybody understand where they fit in that wheel, and if there's an imbalance, maybe in how the company, the leadership structure is formed, then he says, okay, well, we need somebody over here in this area that is able to do these things, who can develop that skill set, or who already has that skill set. Let's get them plugged in on this guy. So it's been really interesting, because it's not necessarily awesome. Just about technical competencies. It has a lot to do with emotional competencies as well.
Question number 4: what is the best part of your job?
Is the variables. Every day I come in and I'm responsible for the accounting, finance, and HR departments here, and it's like a box of chocolates to quote Forrest Gump. You never know what you're going to get. Accounting, I love it because generally when you have a transaction, you put it right here. It goes there. You get those warm and fuzzies. Put your double underline on it. You know that it reconciles to whatever schedule you got, and you walk away from it. HR, well, it's not always so straightforward. So you get a lot of diversity, and there's a lot more dynamics that are associated with handling that side of the spectrum. So I really I appreciate the opportunity to move, to have those warm and fuzzies of getting those things taken care of. And then there's also a lot of fulfillment in helping people get to a place that they need to be as well.
Never a dull moment in HR.
No, there's not.
Question number 5: what is something personal that you'd like to share that we hadn't already talked about?
You found out about my fishing. But one of the other things that I really love doing is coaching my boys and leading their Cub Scout dens. And I've always enjoyed it, not just because I get an opportunity to spend time with them, but I've learned over the years that I get a lot out of it too. When you have an opportunity to see those little personalities, they don't have their guard up. They are showing you exactly who they are. They are very honest about their abilities, and it's easy to see where their abilities are, both on soccer field, both athletically, and then you can see very quickly emotionally kind of where they are. And adapting my personality to try and help them become good players and or better people has been an expanding opportunity for me. So it's a lot of fun to see them come along, to try and get those good kids with those great attitudes, and watch them progress in so many ways and just become good and better people. And then I get to apply those things that they're teaching me in the workplace, and it's a lot of fun. I enjoy that.
That's awesome. That's a great service to provide to young children, boys and girls. You have 2 boys, right?
I do.
Yeah, and you're feeding into those young men's lives, but also the other boys on that team, and I think that's powerful. And it's interesting that you are coaching comes up multiple times now in this short conversation, receiving it, and that you're willing to receive the coaching of others, and then you're willing to volunteer and coach young men. That's strong. Well done.
Thank you.
It's happened fast. Last question. Question number 6 is, what question did I not ask that I should have, and what's the answer to that?
Well, I was hoping I could turn the mic around and ask you a question.
All right. Let's see what you got. Let me straighten up my collar here. Okay, I'm ready for you.
Okay. So you heard me say earlier that I had somebody reverse kind of the professional direction I was heading in. Yeah. So was there a time in your life that maybe you were looking to be something other than a finance guru, and what was that, and what made you change?
I started college as a journalism major. I wanted to be the staff writer at a newspaper. For all you young people that are listening to this, that's like a physical document written on paper, kind of like hieroglyphics on parchment. And I didn't realize it at the time. That was a terrible business in the future. But at the time, that's what I want to do. I want to be a journalist at a newspaper. And when I was a freshman in college, at the end of your freshman year, you would meet with your guidance counselor, and she'd stick you in the school or whatever. I was going to be stuck in the school of communication. So I told the guidance counselor, I want to be a staff writer at a newspaper, maybe doing sports. And I love writing. And the guidance counselor looked up what was the starting salary of a staff writer at a newspaper. And it was in a book. Okay.
What was it?
Like a big book like this. She grabs it off, puts it on the table, blows it off, and it was in descending in order. So like doctors, lawyers, dentists, orthodontists were at the front. And then, literally back page of the hard cover on the end in small print at the bottom said, staff writer at a newspaper. I'll never forget, $18,000. And I said,
not a week.
I'm making $18,000 waiting tables. I'm not going to go to college for 4 years to make $18,000. I was like, what was at the front of the book? She said there was a bunch of business stuff at the front of the book. I said, stick me in the business school.
All right. Well, I have to say that is a very interesting story. And Robert, before we go, I gotta say thank you from me. I'm sure everyone else feels this way. For keeping us connected through all this. We appreciate everything that you and the team do with CFO Council. So thank you.
Well, thank you, man. You've given us some great recommendations. We got book recommendations. We got quotes. We got new tools to consider, and the whole idea of coaching, receiving coaching and giving coaching. You brought it strong, Ridge. Man, that's awesome. And we know who to go to with fishing questions.
That's right. Anytime.